So the question is, batch normalization has been proven to be successful in CNNs, it's also proven to be successful in feed-forward neural networks. Now, can we apply it to transformers? Okay. Again, the same concept applies in principle in transformers, that you have an input. This was our original sentence, I am home today, or whatever it was. It passes through the first layer, you get some outputs, right? Then it passes to the second layer, you get some outputs, and this continues for as many layers of the encoder and decoder that you have. Yes? So the same concept applies. You have an X, then you have an H1, you have an H2, and so on. Correct? Right? So if the same kind of abstraction applies here also, that you're taking an input, doing a series of transformations, and here you guarantee some normal distribution, some standardization. So can you do the standardization at each of these places also, right? So that's the question that we are asking, correct? Everyone gets this? Yes? Okay. So the answer is, of course, yes. However, there are some limitations to batch normalization, and let's see what that is, right? So now the accuracy of the estimation of the mean and the variance depends on the batch size. If I take a very small batch size, I am not going to get a very good estimate for the mean, right? So the best estimate is take the entire matrix X as we did. But as I said, for H's, we cannot do that because we only have access to one batch at a time. Now, if the batch size is very small, then our estimate of the mean and variance will not be good, right? So that's one problem that we have. And we can't use a very small batch size of, say, 1 to do this. Obviously, if you take a size of 1, it's just the same element. There's no concept of like the mu is equal to x and sigma is equal to this. Right? Now, other than this limitation, right, which is like obvious to understand, empirically also people found that when you use batch normalization, the performance degrades in case of various NLP tasks. Right? This was an empirical observation that people found. And there was also a systematic study that validated that this empirical observation is actually true, and a new normalization method was published, which is known as power normalization, or power norm. But fortunately, there is a simpler technique called layer normalization that works very well. And in terms of conceptual understanding, if you have understood batch normalization, it would be very easy to understand layer normalization. Right? We'll work with the same abstraction of that cube that we saw. And the main idea would be, instead of accumulating along the batch, you will accumulate along the layer, right? So that's what we will do. Okay, so batch normalization we understand. We also agree that the same idea should be applied to transformers. Empirically, it did not work very well. Systematic study also showed it's not the best idea. Or maybe better normalization techniques can be used. But then a simpler normalization technique emerged, which is layer normalization, right? And that's what we're going to learn now. Okay. Okay, so now, so this is the L10 layer, okay, fine, this is one layer now. Now earlier what was I doing? Okay, I think this diagram will explain it better. Earlier I was taking the average by doing the following, right? This was my batch size. This was my batch size, right? And I was aggregating across this to compute the mean, right? Now let's for a minute assume that my batch size is just 1. Okay, if that's the case, this aggregation does not make sense, right? So now what is this? This is some H1, right? So the output at the first, after the first encoder layer in the transformer, okay? And my batch size was just 1, so this is all I have. Now I want to perform normalization. What will I do? So this is the entire layers output. Do you see that? This is the entire layers output. I'll just do layer normalization. That means I'll compute mu by accumulating along this dimension. Does that make sense? Right? So now even if your batch size is small, your number of neurons in one layer is typically high. What was that? That was D model, if you remember, right? Which was 512 or 1024, 768. That already looks like a very large, reasonably large value, right? And now even if your batch size is 16 or 32, you are still aggregating along these 5 and 2 entries. So your mu and variance would still be good, and you are standardizing across this. Does that make sense? So that's what layer normalization does. It standardizes across all the outputs in a given layer. The standardization does not happen along the batch, it happens along the layer. Is that okay, everyone? Right? Fine? Okay, cool. So that's all that layer normalization does, and then the rest of the formulae all, it's just a matter of how you are computing the mean and the variance. So this is how you are computing it, right? So here you have capital H, which is the size of the number of neurons in the layer, and then you similarly compute the mean and the variance, again standardize, and then again open the door for getting out of the standardization if you want to. Okay, so all of these equations look the same as what we saw in batch normalization. It's just that how are you computing the mean along the batch or along the layer. Okay, so that's all there is to layer normalization. Okay, so now that we have looked at both residual connections and layer normalization, we are ready to look at the full encoder network now. This is a complete encoder layer. So till now we assume that it contains a multi-head attention and a feed-forward network. And these are the only two things we had seen: multi-head self-attention and feed-forward network. Now we also do the following. What have I added here? Add and layer normalization, right? So how should you look at this? I'll tell you how to look at it, right? So this is my one layer of the encoder. Remember, this was my input. These were just the word embeddings of whatever words I had in my sentence, right? And after this encoder layer, I was getting a updated representation for these guys. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the first thing that is happening is that all of these are going through that self-attention layer. Okay. And what does self-attention do? It computes a new representation for the first token by taking a weighted average of all the other tokens. Yes, of course, after those q, k, v vectors, but in conceptually, it just takes a weighted average of all the tokens, right? Some representation of all the tokens. So that's my new transformed x, right? So if I call this x, let's call this x hat. Okay, and I have a transform output for all the tokens. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? Now I'm going to do add and layer normalization. What does that mean? I'm going to say that whatever comes out here, I'm going to write it as x plus x hat. X was my original input, right? So this again I'm going to feed here and just add with whatever output I have received. Does that make sense? That's how residual connection works, right? Whatever was your input, right? You just say that my revised output after adding the residual connection is going to be x plus whatever transformation has happened. So this is the transformation and this is the original input, right? So now you get this x plus x hat here. Okay, and this then you pass through layer normalization. So it does the layer normalization on top of this. Does that make sense? Right? So it takes this x tilde, normalizes across the layer, and then computes some x prime now, right? So x prime is layer normalization applied on top of x tilde. Is that okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Okay. So that's what this block is trying to tell you. Now whatever x tilde you get, that you pass to the feed forward network. So this is your x tilde, right? So then that was the feed forward network, and you get some, say, x double tilde from here. Okay. After that, you again add the add and layer normalization. That means your final output would be x triple tilde is equal to the original x tilde, right, plus x double tilde. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then you again compute, I'm running out of symbols, okay, is equal to layer normalization of this. Is that okay, everyone? Yes? So this is what is happening in detail in the network, right? So after every attention layer, you are adding and layer normalization. After every feed forward network, you are adding and layer normalization. Okay, so this is what the encoder complete picture looks like. And this is what the full transformer architecture now looks like. Okay, so we are ready to look at it in its full glory. So you had the input embeddings, okay, you are adding the positional embeddings to it. Okay, so if this is 512 dimensional, You are adding those 512-dimensional sinusoidal positional embeddings to it. So what you get out of here is again a 512-dimensional vector, right? That you pass to the multi-head attention, right? And what do you pass to the multi-head attention? You first do K, V, and Q, right? So from every guy here, you calculate 3 guys, K, Q, and V, by using those corresponding matrices, right? Is that okay? Right? That you pass to the multi-head attention. Now, whatever the multi-head attention gives, you again add the original input to it, right? And then you do layer normalization. That you pass to the feed-forward network. Whatever the feed-forward network gives, you again do the add the original input to it, and then do layer normalization, right? And you do this 6 times, 12 times, whatever is the number of encoders, right? This is one encoder, and you do this n times that, right? N is the number of encoder layers that you have. Now coming to the decoder, again you have the output embedding. Where did we have the embedding in the decoder? So remember, you had the decoder, you started with go, right? Then you predicted I, okay? Then what do you find push as the input? The embedding of the word I, correct? Right? What else will you push, right? I mean, you cannot pass the word I, it has to be some vector. So it's the embedding of the word I. So that's what is being said here. That also gets added to a positional embedding, because again in the decoder you need to have a sense of what the position is, right? So add it to the position. Then once you do that, the same process, right? So you compute the multi-head attention, then add the original input, normalize it, okay? This again you, as we had said, right? So this becomes the query, and the key and value come from the encoder, right? Then again, whatever transformation you compute, you are computing a new representation for the decoder tokens. So those again you add and then normalize. Is that okay? Feed forward network, add and normalize, and then finally you have the linear layer and the softmax layer. Is this clear? Right? So now we understand the full transformer architecture, all its components in all its glory. The main components are multi-head attention, right? Which was that softmax formula which we saw, Q transpose K into V. Then you have the feed forward network, which is a simple one hidden layer network. Then you had the masked multi-head attention, and we understood why we need masking, because we want to do teacher forcing, as well as because in practice you don't have access to the remaining tokens, so you need to mask them out. It's not legal to look at them. So we did this masking. We implemented it using a matrix which had zeros and minus infinities. Then again we had the feed forward layer, and at the end we wanted to predict a distribution over the probability, over the vocabulary. So that's where we need the linear layer and the softmax layer, right? And then after all of this, to improve or to stabilize the training, ensure convergence happens fast, we had to add the residual connections, and we added the layer normalization, right? So that is all that is to be said about the transformer architecture. So I'll end this first lecture here, where we have looked at the transformer architecture in detail. Now going forward, we'll start looking at some of the early large language models. So I'll start that tomorrow. Thank you.